really turned back the clock at the Expo tonight, didn't they?
That's right, Kim. I kept looking around for Frank Fixeris doing the old play-by-play on the radio, but I couldn't find him. A Stanley Room-only crowd on hand tonight for the Battle of Unbeatens at the Portland Expo. South Portland endearing 3,000 plus inside the Expo. Over 1,000 fans turned away at the door. They were actually scalping tickets to get into this one. The game certainly lived up to its billing, with South Portland pulling away in the fourth quarter with a 73-62 win. Talk about a playoff atmosphere, wall-to-wall people, and they were chanting Wassie's Posse, and the South Portland Red Riot scored the first 8 points of the game. John Wassenberg with 2 of his 30 in the game with 1:41 to play in the game. Look at that. So much electricity, they blew a fuse at the Expo. A little bit of delay. Back to the action. Deering takes the lead 23-18. Steve Huntington right there with 2 of his 14 points. Andrew Harris will finish off this fast break for the Rams. He had 13, and the Rams led 36-35 at the half. In the third quarter, Burt Rich's only point, a 3-pointer, gives the Red Riot the lead for good at 40-38. Then it's John Wassenberg. He takes over the steal, coast to coast. South Portland stays unbeaten with a 12-0 record, 73-62 over Deering.
It was one of those games the experts said it would be. The 2 top teams meeting head-on on a neutral site. The South Portland Red Riot and the Deering High Rams both 11-0 going into tonight's game. This game was moved from the Deering High Gymnasium to the Portland Expo to accommodate the sold-out crowd of close to 3,000. The atmosphere was electric, as though it were tournament time. The Riots jumped out to an early lead, but both teams appeared tight in the early going. The Riots took a 6-0 lead, and doesn't this seem to happen in every big game? The lights went out at the Expo. After about 10 minutes, they were ready to play. Deering settled down, and this hoop by Anthony Hicks pulled the Rams to within 4 after 1, 14-10. The lead went back and forth in the second quarter. This 3-point by Bill LaFawn put the Rams up by 4, 30-26. The Riot star center, John Wassenberg, was relegated to the bench in the final minutes of the first half. He had 3 fouls. The Rams took a 36-35 lead into the locker room, and Riot coach Tony Tobias was concerned with his star on the bench.
I mean, he's such a key part of the team. I thought the key part of the game really was that when Chris Keene came back in the second half and did a much better job handling the offense, because he's got the ball where it should have got.
Third quarter, the Riots regained the lead when Burt Rich buried a trifecta to make it 40-38. 3 minutes and 34 seconds left in the quarter. Wassenberg returned. He hit a pair of buckets, and South Portland was up 51-46. In the fourth quarter, Wassenberg went to work. He controlled the boards. He worked well inside. He had 14 points in the final 8 minutes. He finished with 28 points and 15 rebounds as the Riots moved out to a 9-point lead. Deering then was relegated to throwing up 3-pointers. The Riots would rebound and draw the foul, and their 12th win without a loss was secure, 73-62 over Deering. And when it was over, you would have thought the Riots had just won the state title. This game lived up to its billing.
What was great for us was that we got a chance to get involved in that kind of atmosphere. We haven't been in that kind of game all year long, and I think that was the key. And I thought we handled ourselves pretty well.
What a great game it was to watch. South Portland over Deering.
Steve Minnick joins us now live from the Portland Expo. Oh, my goodness, he has some friends there apparently with him. Steve, are you there?
I am here.
Where are you, Steve?
I am back here.
Oh,
right,
yes,
well,
I see
thank
you now.
very much. We are talking Major League excitement here at the Portland Expo tonight. Two undefeated teams, Deering and South Portland, the basketball teams going at it tonight. As we told you yesterday, the game's so big, the ticket demand so high, they had to move this game from Deering High School here to the Portland Expo just to fit everybody in. Now, earlier this week, we sent our Norm Karkos to both Deering and South Portland High Schools to find out about these two teams. He said both are ready to rock and roll.
It's one of the most anticipated games of the season. Deering and South Portland, numbers 1 and 2 in the Western A Hill ratings as they both check in at 11-0. Now, both teams realize what's at stake in a game like this, and they know that it's important to stay focused.
We're just going to take it like any other game. It's no big game. I mean, two undefeated teams, people are calling it like probably the best game of the season. But we're just going to take it as another game. We're not going to put any pressure on ourselves.
I just hope the team comes out, play hard, just get the game over with. I think we can win it, but we got to work hard to do it.
Anytime you have the top two teams going at it in Western Maine, you're obviously going to pack them into the arenas. And in most situations, that would help out the home team. Now, Deering is still the home team in this one, but because of the overwhelming popularity of this game, Deering officials had to move the game here to the Portland Expo.
Deering has the home court advantage, but everyone wants to see the game. It's a big game for the city. So we're all going to go over there and play the game in the Expo.
Anytime you have a big crowd and a lot of people want to come see you play, you want to do the best you can to prove that you are a good team. So I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be nervous, but fun.
All the hype and ballyhoo can now be put aside because it's time to do battle and have some fun. Norm Karkos, Channel 8, Eyewitness Sports.
Turns out to be a great game. Unbeaten South Portland against unbeaten Deering tonight. The game's so big, the demand for tickets so great, they had to move it from Deering High School to the Portland Expo just to fit everybody in. Final score, South Portland 73, Deering 62. Highlights now from the Expo where you can see there was not an empty seat in the house. First half, South Portland in the red shirts, number 21 is Jeff Hogan, and Hogan does it all by himself, nailing the three, a very close game in the first half. Going the other way, Sandy Bassett feeds off to Sean Conrad, who hits the two-pointer. 1 point game at halftime. With time running out, it's Hogan to Hyde, to Peruzzi, to Inverso, who throws in the final shot. On to the second half now. Deering still keeping it close. Nick Caialazzo from way downtown throws it up, and bingo. But turnovers will end up killing the Rams. John Wassenberg picks it off, and Wassenberg puts it in. Then it's Hogan again, one more time, with the steal and the 2 points. And that is it as time is running out. 3, 2, 1. And that's the ball game, 73-62. The final score, South Portland celebrates, going to 12-0. Deering drops to 11-1. On the Friday night high school.
Now, sports guys are always talking about big games, but Jimmy Young says what's going on at the Expo tonight really lives up to the hype. Convince us, Jimmy.
Well, I'll tell you, the key determining factor with that, Jennifer, is the fact that the end zone bleachers have been rolled out here at the Portland Exposition Building. A big crowd is expected, and why not? We've got a battle of two unbeaten teams. South Portland at 11-0, Deering at 11-0. They are the number 1 and the number 4 teams in our latest News Channel 13 Top 10 high school basketball poll, and they should put on a show tonight. Now, the reason why we are playing this game here at the Portland Expo, well, is twofold, as Deering basketball coach Dave Brenner explains.
Really, the two factors were safety, one, with 800 to 1,000 people shut out of Deering High School. We were afraid that there would be some problems outside. And number 2, even my players had trouble getting tickets for their families. So this is the type of game where 10 or 15 years from now, when the kids look back, they're not going to remember who won or lost as much as they're going to remember playing in front of a huge crowd. So we wanted to make sure that everybody who wanted to see the game could see the game, and that's why the game was moved to the Expo.
Well, you can really sense the excitement at the Expo tonight.
Oh, boy. This is it. You got it. A couple of unbeatens. That's the battle tonight. Deering, South Portland down at the Expo. Jimmy Young is at the scene, and Jimmy, let me tell you, this kind of excitement reminds me of some great, great basketball that was played in that building in years gone by.
That's right, Frank. A playoff atmosphere here at the Expo, and coaching against South Portland. That's your job, Dave Brenner, Deering basketball coach. What do you do to stop that team?
Well, as Tony said, I think Wassenberg is getting a little too much attention. He might be the best player in the league, but he's certainly surrounded by kids who are outstanding in their own right. So they have so many weapons. We've got to take our chances on a couple of kids and hope that we can neutralize Wassenberg enough on the backboards.
All right, and Coach Brenner, you get the Miss Personality and Hospitality Award by giving up your home court advantage tonight. You guys have shown a lot of class for that.
Well, it was an easy decision because, you know, I think that this game is for the kids, and the kids should be able to play in front of as many people as possible, and anybody who thinks it's for the coaches or for the fans or for the media is wrong. And our guys are excited. I just hope we're up to playing a good game tonight.
All right, we appreciate you taking the time out, too. Coach, good luck tonight.
Thanks, Jimmy.
South Portland and Deering, it's a throwback to the old days. Frank will have highlights and post-game reaction on Nightcap.